Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something, well, something pretty universal. Happiness. We all want it, right? But, sometimes the harder we actually chase it, the more it seems to kind of slip away. So this deep dive is all about the paradox of happiness. Why do we pursue it and not get it? We've got a great range of sources here: ancient philosophy, modern psychology, even some sharp takes on society today. And our mission really is to unpack why going directly after happiness often backfires. And maybe more importantly, figure out some real actionable ways to cultivate, genuine well-being.
Exactly. It's about maybe rethinking our whole approach. Happiness isn't quite the straightforward target we often treat it as.
Yeah, and I was struck by this analogy from William Bennett in our reading. He said, happiness is like a cat.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah. He said, the more you entice or call it, the more it will avoid you. But if you paid no attention, busy yourself with your own affairs, you will find it rubbing against your legs.
Jumping onto your lap. Yeah, it really captures that elusive feeling, doesn't it?
It really does. So let's start there with this core idea, the happiness paradox. Basically, the more you consciously try to be happy.
The harder it gets. It sounds wrong, but there's a lot to it.
So why is that?
Well, the main point across our sources is that happiness isn't like a thing you can just grab. It's usually described more as a byproduct.
A byproduct.
Yeah, like something that emerges when you're doing other things, meaningful activities, connecting with people, living according to your values. When you make happiness the only goal, that intense focus itself can, ironically, get in the way. It adds pressure, you start judging every feeling, and it can lead to more dissatisfaction.
And this isn't some new age idea, is it? The sources trace it back quite a way.
Oh, absolutely. Henry Sidgwick called it the hedonistic paradox way back.
Right, and John Stuart Mill, he had that quote, "Ask yourself whether you are happy and you cease to be so." Just nails it.
It really does. And Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the concentration camps, he put it very powerfully. He said, happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue.
It has to follow from something else.
Precisely. As the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself, it comes indirectly.
So think about that for a second if you're listening. Does that ring true for you? Ever had that feeling of trying so hard to be happy, maybe forcing a smile at a party and just feeling emptier?
It's a really common thing, and psychology actually gives us some pretty solid reasons why this happens.
Okay, let's dig into that. Psychology insights.
Right. First up is this concept of hedonic adaptation, or sometimes called the hedonic treadmill.
The treadmill, okay.
Yeah,
sounds tiring.
It kind of is. The idea is that we humans have this sort of happiness set point. Our long-term happiness tends to bounce back to a relatively stable baseline, even after big life events, good or bad.
So like you win the lottery, huge rush of joy, right?
Yeah.
But the sources say that fades surprisingly fast.
Exactly. The initial excitement wears off, your expectations shift, that new mansion or fancy car becomes the new normal, and you find yourself looking for the next thing to give you that boost.
I definitely feel that with smaller things, like getting a new phone or something super exciting for a week, then it's just my phone.
It's a cycle, and evolutionarily it makes some sense. This adaptation stops us from being permanently overwhelmed by joy or despair, and it keeps us motivated to, strive for things, adapt to new situations.
But connect that to today's world.
Ah, yes. When you mix the hedonic treadmill with our, super consumerist culture, you get a trap. We adapt to what we buy, the goalposts for happiness keep moving, and we're pushed to consume more and more, chasing a feeling that materialism just can't deliver long term.
Which explains that Easterlin paradox thing, right? Where countries get richer over time, but the average happiness level doesn't really budge.
Exactly. There's this fundamental mismatch. Society pushes economic growth via buying stuff, but our individual psychology seems to need something else for lasting contentment. It makes the paradox bigger than just us. It's societal.
Okay, so if chasing pleasure and stuff isn't the answer, what works? You mentioned flow theory.
Yes. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's work. Flow is that state of being completely absorbed in something. You're engaged, challenged just the right amount. You lose track of time.
Like when you're deep into a hobby, or maybe even a really engaging project at work.
Precisely. You feel strong, focused, effortless. The sources list key things: clear goals, immediate feedback, that perfect balance between the challenge and your skill level.
Action and awareness merge. Distractions fade out.
And the activity becomes its own reward. You're not doing it to get happy. The happiness just happens.
Ah, so that's how it bypasses the paradox.
Exactly. Your attention is off yourself, off monitoring your feelings and fully on the task. Thoughts quiet down, and this optimal experience emerges, and happiness is just there. It's a byproduct of engagement.
That leads nicely into another distinction you wanted to make, right? Between different types of well-being.
Yes, this is crucial in positive psychology. The difference between hedonic and eudaimonic well-being.
Okay, break those down. Hedonic sounds like hedonism, pleasure.
Pretty much. Hedonic well-being is about seeking pleasure, comfort, immediate gratification. Think, eating great food, relaxing. It's very much in the moment.
Got it. And eudaimonic.
Eudaimonic is deeper. It's about meaning, purpose, personal growth, feeling connected to yourself and your values. It weaves together your past, present, and future. It's about striving, contributing, fulfilling potential.
And the research suggests leaning too hard on the hedonic side can backfire.
Yeah, if you're only chasing those immediate highs, you can set yourself up for disappointment. You develop unrealistic expectations for constant pleasure, plus the highs are, by nature, temporary.
And get this, I found this fascinating. The sources it seems to affect our physical health too. Like, hedonic happiness is linked to higher inflammation.
That's right. While eudaimonic well-being, the kind you get from, say, pursuing a meaningful goal or helping others, is linked to lower inflammation levels, it suggests the source and quality of your happiness really matter, down to a biological level.
Wow. Okay. So hedonic is pleasure, now maybe fleeting. Eudaimonic is meaning, purpose, growth, more sustainable, maybe even healthier.
That's a good summary. One is about feeling good, the other about living a life rich with meaning, which often results in feeling good, but in a different, deeper way.
It really makes you think, what kind of happiness are you actually after? Okay, let's shift gears. Ancient wisdom time. Stoicism first.
Right. The Stoics, they believed virtue was the key. Living virtuously according to reason and nature was happiness or eudaimonia. Their focus was radical. Only worry about what you can control, your thoughts, your judgments, your actions.
And everything else. External stuff, other people.
Accept it calmly. They argued that suffering doesn't come from events themselves, but from our resistance to them, our judgment that they're bad. If you cultivate inner virtue and acceptance, you achieve ataraxia, this profound inner peace.
So they just sidestep the paradox entirely by redefining happiness as internal control and virtue.
Exactly. You're not chasing external outcomes for pleasure, you're cultivating an unshakable inner state.
Okay, moving east now. Buddhism.
Buddhism starts with a fundamental truth, or what they call dukkha, suffering, or maybe better, unsatisfactoriness is just part of life. And a primary cause is tanha, craving, attachment. We cling to things that are impermanent.
Not just physical things, right? Like ideas, emotions.
Oh yeah, even our sense of self. We grasp at things hoping they'll last, and because they don't, we suffer. The path out towards nirvana or liberation involves cultivating non-attachment.
Which doesn't mean not caring, does it?
No, not apathy. It means engaging with life fully, but without clinging to outcomes, without that desperate need for things to be a certain way, and following the middle way, avoiding extremes, moderation.
That feels like such a challenge to how we're often wired, especially today. Stop desiring things.
It's deeply counterintuitive to the more is better mindset. Buddhism suggests real peace comes not from getting what you crave, but from the cessation of craving itself, from accepting impermanence.
Fascinating. Okay, one more philosophy. Existentialism. This one seems maybe darker.
It can seem that way, but it offers powerful insights. Thinkers like Albert Camus looked at life's apparent meaninglessness, the absurd, he called it, and said, don't despair. True fulfillment comes from rebelling against this absurdity, by consciously choosing to embrace life despite it.
That's the Sisyphus thing, isn't it? The guy rolling the rock uphill forever.
Exactly. Camus famously says, we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because in the conscious defiance of his fate, in the struggle itself, Sisyphus finds dignity and meaning. The struggle itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's heart.
So happiness isn't about achieving the goal, but embracing the process, even a seemingly futile one.
In a way, yes. And Nietzsche had a related idea with amor fati, love your fate. He saw suffering not as something to avoid, but as essential for growth, for depth. To really affirm life, you have to embrace all of it, the pain included, because it shapes you.
There was also that mention of existential happiness.
Right. Kyle York's idea is simply the value derived from being alive, from the fact that you exist as an experiencing subject, a fundamental appreciation for consciousness itself.
So existentialism doesn't promise easy happiness, but it reframes suffering. It suggests facing it, even embracing it, is key to a more authentic, maybe deeper kind of existence, which could be seen as its own form of happiness or greatness.
Precisely. It challenges that constant pursuit of pleasure and avoidance of pain head on.
Wow. Stoicism, Buddhism, existentialism, all pointing away from directly chasing happy feelings and towards internal states, acceptance, or embracing the struggle. Very different paths, same general direction.
And this is critical because modern culture often seems designed to push us in the opposite direction, making the paradox worse.
You mean consumerism?
That's a huge part of it. We're constantly bombarded with messages linking happiness to buying things. Get this car, this gadget, this vacation, then you'll be happy.
But we know from the hedonic treadmill, it doesn't last.
Right. It fuels that unsatisfying cycle of wanting more, creating this gap between economic progress and actual human well-being.
And then there's social media.
Yeah, social media is almost like an engine for the happiness paradox. It's built around upward social comparison.
Everyone posting their highlight reel. Perfect holidays, perfect relationships, perfect avocado toast.
Exactly. And seeing these curated, often unrealistic snapshots all the time, research shows it hammers our self-esteem, body image, mental health. We feel like we're lacking, falling short.
It makes you chase this externally validated version of happiness that's based on comparing yourself to illusions. It feels pretty futile.
It can be really damaging. And it ties into the last point, this intense societal pressure that you must be happy all the time.
Oh, definitely. That feeling like you're failing if you're not constantly upbeat and positive.
It's a huge burden. Our sources show that putting too much value on happiness actually leads to more disappointment, especially when things should be happy, like a birthday. But you don't feel ecstatic. You feel guilty for not feeling happy enough.
And that leads to things like smiling depression, right? Where people hide how they really feel.
Yes, suppressing genuine negative emotions to keep up appearances. It's harmful long-term. This kind of toxic positivity turns the natural ebb and flow of human emotion into a chore, creating anxiety instead of happiness. It just sharpens the paradox.
Have you ever felt that pressure, that need to perform happiness? And how did it actually make you feel? It's something worth reflecting on.
So, okay, we've unpacked the paradox, the psychology, the philosophy, the societal traps. How do we actually cultivate happiness if we can't chase it directly?
This is the key takeaway, isn't it?
Absolutely. The consistent message is stop chasing the feeling of happiness itself. Instead, focus on building a life where happiness is likely to arise as a natural byproduct. Shift from pursuing the state to cultivating the conditions.
Right. And our sources give some really concrete strategies for doing that. Let's run through them.
Okay.
First, embrace the full emotional spectrum. Stop fighting negative emotions. Acknowledge them, accept them as part of being human. They have things to teach us.
Makes sense. Trying to be happy all the time is unrealistic and exhausting.
Second, live in the present. Easier said than done, I know. But try to focus on your current experience, not getting lost in past regrets or future worries. Happiness happens now.
Mindfulness helps hugely with that. We'll get to it.
Third, deepen relationships. We are social creatures. Strong, authentic connections with family, friends, community. These are absolutely fundamental to well-being. Invest time there.
Couldn't agree more. Connection is key.
Fourth, engage in meaningful activities. This ties back to flow and eudaimonia. Find things that absorb you, challenge you, give you that sense of purpose, whether it's work, a hobby, volunteering.
When you're lost in something meaningful, happiness often just shows up uninvited.
Fifth, cultivate gratitude. Actively focus on what you have rather than what you lack. Writing down things you're grateful for. Simple, but powerful.
It really shifts your perspective.
Sixth, practice altruism. Helping others, contributing to something bigger than yourself, it's consistently linked to greater satisfaction and happiness.
Giving back feels good, fundamentally.
And finally, seventh, practice mindfulness. Developing that non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. It helps reduce stress, manage difficult emotions, and just appreciate life more.
All these strategies point towards the same thing. Happiness isn't a destination you arrive at, it's more like the way you travel. It comes from accepting life fully, engaging deeply, and connecting meaningfully.
So there you have it. Trying to grab happiness directly. Probably not going to work long term. But build a life filled with engagement, meaning, connection, acceptance.
And happiness tends to follow. It becomes that cat rubbing against your legs when you're busy living.
A great way to put it. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. building on what we've discussed.
If happiness truly is a byproduct of meaning and purpose, maybe ask yourself, what's one small, meaningful action you could take today? Not with the goal of becoming happy, but simply to be a little more engaged, a little more connected, a little more present in your own life.
That's a fantastic question to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the paradox of happiness. We hope you found it useful. Give those strategies some thought, and let me just notice when happiness finds you.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time on the Deep Dive.